All right, folks, thank you so much for your patience as we worked through some technical difficulties on our side and also a little bit of a scheduling conflict on my side. So, full transparency, I'll own up to that as we're a little bit late getting underway in tonight's Fix Auto 250 at Charlottetown. Of course, it is the round of 12 eliminator in the Canadian eMotorsports Network NASCAR Series Season 3. Jordy Caraher with you as we bring the broadcast live now. And I'm here. I'm fairly certain at this point Regan McCauley's here. I'll give you a little test in my ear first before we confirm all of that. But I think we're good.
Yeah, we should be.
Yes, he is. He is live, and we're live, and we're seeing Mike Nickens leading this race. I believe he was the pole sitter here tonight, just based on the fact that the camera went to him first. We are about 12 laps in here tonight. Again, we are a little bit delayed getting live, so that's just the nature of the working person is really what we can attribute that to. As it looks like Darcy Ford's trying to track Nickens down here for the lead. Maybe a little touch off the wall, a couple little kisses off the wall here, Reeds.
Well, yeah, it's Bristol, baby. Of course, of all tracks, this has to be a cut line race. I mean, that's what's going to be in real life as well for the Cup Series. The Xfinity Series is going to have their regular season finale. The Truck Series begins a new round. And of course, here we're just eliminating more and more drivers. Like, we're going to be down to the final 8 drivers after tonight. And it's basically the final 8 that we know for sure any of them could have a shot at the title. Any of them could. Like, I'm looking at the standings right now on my monitor here, and yeah, it's most of the regular guys up in the let's say like top 7 and stuff. The one guy at the back there is Darcy Ford at plus 16 in 7th place. Mike Marini in 8th place, and Corbin McCauley at -8 in 9th place is where we have to get most of the. That's where we're gonna have to keep our eyes on the most, because McCauley has been pretty good on short tracks throughout his tenure here in this series, so this is definitely a great place for him to get some good points, get a good finish, maybe even have the potential for a win, because I'm pretty sure he has won on a short track before, maybe even Bristol. I'm sure you know that.
I've got Martinsville Season 1 in the brain.
Okay,
he did the job there. Bristol, yeah, I don't think he got Season 1 or 2. However, I think Darcy Ford, the man who's leading right now, I think he may have gotten Bristol in Season 1. And you were just talking about him a minute ago there. Riggs, it looks like he's darted out here to a bit of an advantage. He took the high line on Nickens there a few laps ago. And Ford started second, as I'm not sure who was diving down underneath. And again, chaos is going to be the name of the game here at Bristol. Whoever can keep their nose the cleanest, because it's almost a foregone conclusion that it won't be completely clean by the end of the night. Whoever keeps it cleanest, they're in the best position here, I would say. And Darcy Ford, again, he's another guy that's, obviously defending Earl Ross Cup champion here, Reegs, but still doesn't have that first win of the season. Boy, oh boy, what a time if he was to pick it up tonight. Obviously a long way to go here. 250 laps tonight on this rather iconic NASCAR track.
Well, yeah, it's been kind of a down year, especially as the defending champion. It's kind of the, I guess, defending champion slump or whatever that most people tend to refer to. But I mean, his statistics are still decent, I guess, in a way. He does. The thing is, he only has 2 top 5s and 3 top 10s by the looks of it. After, I believe that's correct. And whenever I'm looking at the statistics here, the latest one that we've gotten, I mean. Yeah, or no, sorry, that would be 3 top 5s and 10 top 10s, my apologies. But yeah, he's still gotten good finishes. It's just that he hasn't really been able to get a win yet. I mean, Tornado Alley Racing, those guys, Jonathan Pete and Leo Jameson, Ty Higamon, those guys have been absolutely destroying the field throughout most of the season. Although in the playoffs, we have seen drivers outside of that team, especially from GTR Motorsports, come through with wins with Mike Nickens and I believe Jose Mercado as well, or maybe he was close to one. I have a terrible memory.
He was definitely
but yeah,
close on a couple of occasions. Of course, it was
yes,
John Peden
yeah,
picking up the win at Watkins Glen a couple of weeks ago, and then it's
yes.
Ty Higginbotham, who's already moved on to the round of 8 at this point with his victory last week at Texas.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, I was saying back. Oh, sorry. I was saying back at Texas. I was saying back at Texas that Darcy Ford, in my opinion, is one of those drivers that, especially getting into these later races here. I mean, after tonight, there's only going to be 3 races remaining, 2 races to determine the final 4, and then we have that championship race. This is the point where I think someone like Darcy Ford, with that experience, is going to come in and have the most impact. Like, he'll be at his top. At the top level imaginable, because with that experience plus like he's won before, he's gotten good finishes here at these tracks and stuff, and yeah, it's just pretty much what I said. Texas, like, he's got that experience, and I think he's one of those guys that will have that momentum in what are the races that are the most impactful. So if that's a proper way to put it, my mind's kind of in a bit of a boggle right now, but
a little bit of contact there
I'm sure you know what
Ford
I mean.
and Bob Drew III as the 64 makes his way through. And speaking of the 64, I was just about to reference, obviously, the fact that he was going really well last week prior to an incident in the second stage with Keith Miller. And I'm just going to go through the field here just to see. I'm going to make this very quick, so that's why you're seeing the quick cut. Quick runs through everybody in the field. It looks like we'll get a quick battle between Corbin McCauley and Jacob Nelson on the way through. Looks like the 17 gets the position there on the 9. Nelson even with a little bit of a tag on the wall, the Tennessee native. Anyway, the point I was going to make as we continue up the field back to our race leader, Darcy Ford. Again, Ford involved in that incident with Keith Miller, and as a result of what went down, Miller was handed a 1-race ban for tonight. So that is something that should be made known, so you won't see the 44 at Bristol here this evening as we trim the field down from 12 to 8.
Was that the only penalty that came from after Texas?
To my knowledge, it is, but I'm not 100% sure. It was definitely a competitive outing, to say the very least. Things got a little bit testy in Texas.
Well, yeah, I mean, to me, it's not a surprise at all. I mean, you have to remember, and even the audience has to remember the reactions that we had to that. We were completely surprised by it. It was very unexpected, and at the same time, just yeah, not the greatest move, especially if you're a lap car. Yeah, obviously don't do that. But yeah, that completely ruined Darcy Ford's race, because he had arguably the winning pace. Like, he was the best car, the most speedy car at Texas, and even Jose Mercado was fighting with him as well. And we actually thought Darcy Ford had a shot, but unfortunately the incident with Keith Miller just caused him to fall back, and he never really had a shot as the race went on. So perhaps tonight he will rebound with the win, and that would definitely, like I was saying earlier, that would give him a lot of confidence and momentum moving forward as someone who is the defending champion but still hasn't won a race yet, like you said before. So could tonight be the night? But again, at the same time, it's only the first stage. We still have to go through 2 restarts.
Although, as we say that, is that
Bristol
Ford down low? I think it is. I'm not sure if he hit something. Looks like a little bit of damage to that front. Yeah, indeed there is. And so, just as we were kind of waxing poetic about, how this could be a potential redemption night for the 64, I'm not sure if he just lost it there or what happened, but certainly
I saw what happened.
The ideal outcome here for the 64. As let's just see, is that going to be a battle for position here behind? Because I know Ford was opening up a gap. Oh, loose again. Not sure if that's a lag or a connection issue or what's going on there with the 64, but certainly less than ideal, to say the very least.
So yeah, I'm looking back on the I'm looking back on the stream here, and it looks like there was contact with Dan Mattiello by the looks of it. Mattiello looks like he kind of... They were going through turns 3 and 4. Mattiello was on the outside. Looks like he got a little bit squiggly there. Might have gotten the wall, though it's not very clear. He came down, and then Ford just got right into the back of him, then went right into the inside wall, and thank God he didn't spin fully right around. He went straight head on, but he was able to get the car straightened out there. So, again, another lap car incident for Darcy Ford, literally as we were talking about what happened with Keith Miller, Texas. So, yeah, the commentator jinx just strikes again.
Yeah, I guess that's one way to put it. Yeah, definitely not, how Darcy Ford would have drawn it up, to put it mildly. I don't think there was necessarily intent this time around, and I mean, it's hard to make that argument for what happened last week as well, although certainly we saw the end result of it. As we're watching now, Mike Marini in the number 12. He's another guy who's very much on the outside of that playoff picture right now. I do believe, I don't have the points up immediately in front of me, but that is to the best of my recollection here. Again, apologies to the viewers here if we're maybe not 100% as sharp as we normally are. Again, I had a little bit of a scheduling conflict on my end that sort of threw off my timing a little bit here today, and so that's why things are a little bit rushed and perhaps maybe not quite as informed as they normally would be. But obviously our job here is just to kind of let the racing tell the story, Reeks. So really, I think we can kind of get away with it for now, but definitely we'll be in the pocket as the race goes on here.
Well, yeah, stuff like this happens. It's just how personal lives go with people, obviously. But I mean, hey, at least we're here. We're able to do this. I mean, we've still been progressing after all the technical. Okay, looks like something might have happened, judging by your face there and the lumberjack quality that I'm getting on the software. So I'm gonna have to look at the stream.
Yeah, it got a little bit wobbly there as Ty Higginbotham was making his way past Jonathan Warr. That's what I was seeing there. I thought, not sure if it was a stream-related issue or what was going on, but definitely there was some wobbling going down. But it looks like the 97,
yes,
last week's winner, of course, has navigated that particular pile safely, with the exception of Reggie Kime here. But it looks like Higginbotham will try and make that move in relatively short order. Whether it's for position or not remains to be seen. We're just getting all of our connection technology up into place as well. But yeah, it looks like Higginbotham has found his way past that pile and has, which is an oddity at Bristol, has a lot of clear track ahead of him.
Well, yes, and obviously you were talking about Reggie Kime earlier. Following up with more of the playoff grade here, Reggie Kime sits in 10th place at -11 points. Tom Janikowski, the number 93, sits in 11th at -15. And then we got Bodger the third at -25 in last place after what sounded like an incident at Texas, and then he disconnected. So tonight it's going to have to be a must-win for him if he wants any shot of getting into the next round. So at this point, it seems like it's probably going to... Okay, there seems to be some trouble.
That was, Corbin McCauley and Dan Cudmore getting tangled up. Not sure if that was a stage ender necessarily. Definitely the cars are going slow. Yeah, everybody's slow, so that's just stage end. So nothing too crazy there by the looks of things. Again, we're finally piecing everything together here.
Okay, then. I was seeing on the stream here as the stage, I'm assuming it ended whenever the cars were around, but yeah, I believe it was Jonathan Warr and Dan Cudmore both spinning around, so... And we just got the top 10 stage results here. So Ty Higginbotham, Corbin McCauley, and Mike Marini, second and third place. I mentioned earlier, Marini and McCauley are right now, respectively, 8th and 9th. They're right the cut line there, 8 points in between each other. So it's going to be a close one there. That it's going to come down to most likely them, although... At the same time, though, there are guys like Jacob Nelson, Darcy Ford, who are plus 18, plus 16, I believe, respectively there. So it's Honestly, who knows? We still have a lot more racing to go. So, but yeah, seeing them in second and third place, those are integral points. In the fact that Macaulay finished one position higher, maybe that'll be better. Who knows? We'll just have to find out as we get into this next stage, as the green flag has been already taken. And
indeed it is. And your leader to start stage 2 is the aforementioned Corbin Macaulay in the number 17. Mike Marini there in second. Ty Higginbotham third. Mike Nickens, pole sitter, is fourth. And Jacob Nelson rounds out the top 5. Although I think those two may have just swapped positions, as I'm not sure if there was contact or lap traffic or what was going on there. I know we also saw a car in pit lane. So, again, just trying to kind of dissect everything that's going on here.
I believe as the cars were pacing around to get to the start-finish line for the stage green flag, there was a car literally sideways on the apron, so I have no idea what that was all about. I guess game physics, whatever. But yeah, we're seeing here Corbin Macaulay and Mike Marini obviously finishing second and third place respectively in the first stage. We're seeing them fighting for the win. They're first and second place, so that final spot on the playoff grid heading into the round of 8, like that, this right here, if it ends up continuing on to the next stage, let's say hopefully, maybe that happens, we don't know yet, but if that does end up happening, like, it could be one hell of a finish that we might get here if it's those two drivers going for the win, because I mean, Macaulay's definitely going to want to be desperate, but then there's also Mike Marini, who has been known to be an aggressive driver in the past, so nothing bad, obviously, about that. It's just racing styles are different with everyone, so... But again, though, if it's Macaulay and Marini fighting for the win at the end, strap on
fireworks if that happens.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, and we'll give a better perspective of just where everybody is momentarily, as long as, my feed doesn't happen to freeze at some point. Yeah, so we're still, again, working out some of the gremlins here as we go along, try and get everybody caught up the way we're supposed to. As we will check in on Mike Marini here. So this is your lead battle you're seeing on track. Corbin Macaulay continues to lead, Mike Marini second. I believe that's Ty Higginbotham in third. Yes. Based on that back end anyway. And Marini, maybe a little jitter coming out of the turn, but it looks like he's holding on to the car nicely. Macaulay taking a bit of a higher line before diving down. Marini kind of more consistent throughout the turn. And it looks like Marini's trying to make up a bit of a gap here. And obviously, Riggs, it goes without saying, a short track, an entirely different racing animal than, your standard ovals or mile and a half or what have you. But just adding the component of, again, this being an elimination race, how much tighter are you gripping that wheel knowing what's at stake if you're, especially these two guys we're watching at the head of the field?
Yeah, it's Bristol of all tracks, so you're trying to keep the wheel steady, you're trying to slide the car around every turn, and like one big mistake in any of the turns at Bristol, like when you're braking, turning, whatever it could be like massive. Like, you do not want to make a mistake. You want to be as perfect as you can be at a track like Bristol, especially in this game with these physics, because especially if you're side by side, things might not end well. But for someone like Corbin Macaulay, I think he definitely has a lot of the potential to get the job done here tonight. That height, hopefully that's not a jinx. But again, we've seen how he is on the short tracks in past seasons. You've mentioned he won at Martinsville back in season 1, I believe it was. Obviously, Martinsville is a lot more of a flat short track in comparison to Bristol. But Macaulay's good on the bank tracks as well too. So we're just gonna have to wait and see. And it looks like Macaulay is putting up a bit of a gap on Marini, and Higginbottom's actually starting to catch up for second place. So looks like Macaulay might be able to stay steady for the time being if he can stay consistent with how he's doing. Although lap traffic is coming up, so that will definitely play a factor. I mean, we saw what happened with Darcy Ford in the first stage, so I guess hopefully something doesn't happen in a similar form to Macaulay, and perhaps he'll be able to go out and get the stage win and get some very valuable points. Although Marini being in second, those could also be valuable points. So, in a nutshell, it's going to get very, very close towards the third stage if things stay this way.
And again, I am working in real time to try and kind of give a better picture as to where everybody is. Just trying to do it on the other computer here. That's why my head might be down a little bit for you, Regan, as we try to get this done. But as you can see, yeah, Marini getting a bit of a haggling from the back there from Higginbotham. Meanwhile, Macaulay looks like he's just going to slide by Reggie Kime here. And that move is made rather cleanly. So well done to both drivers on that front. As we'll...
Reggie Kime's not going to want to get lapped in this race in particular, because right now in the playoff standings he's currently, like we said earlier, negative 11 points. Although it could be better, it could be worse, depending on how the first stage went. And based on these stage results, he did not finish anywhere in the top 10 by the looks of it. So he is definitely a couple more points down, so it's not looking very good for him. But again, there's still time, so just patience will be key tonight.
It absolutely will be as we continue along here. We're with our race leader now, Corbin Macaulay, and you see that gap really is stretching between himself and Marini and Higginbotham there in positions 2 and 3. Although it looks like Higginbotham might be trying to make a move on Marini down the inside. But Marini will hold on to the place. And for Higginbotham, again, winner last week at Texas, so not really a whole lot of urgency, but obviously the additional win would very much help his cause. As we'll check in now officially for the first time with one of the two Tennessee natives in tonight's race, that being Jacob Nelson out of Clarksville. And it looks like he's got a bit of damage to the front of that number 9 GTR Motorsports Chevy as he tries to follow. I thought that was Mike Nickens, but I don't think it is now. And let's just see here. Looks like Nelson just trying to hold it on, keep it pretty consistent. And Nelson, he's a guy who's, again, very much in that picture right now as well in terms of the playoffs. Looks like he could get fairly comfortably into the round of 8. Of course, things could change depending on whether or not, say, somebody behind him happens to win tonight, which is a very distinct possibility. But again, we'll have to see how things shake out there. But again, the 9's been consistent, just doesn't have that win to his name so far as he tags the wall in the corner.
I mean, yeah, he's got some decent stats with the, by the looks of it, 6 top 5, or no, okay, I think that is 6. I'm hoping I'm reading that correctly. It's either 6 or 8 top 5s, and then 11 top 10s. He's also gotten 2 stage wins over the season, a couple playoff points as well. He's got an average start of 6.75, an average finish of 5.17, which in fact is actually the second best average finish out of any driver, which, yes, he's got a better average finish than 2 of the Tornado Alley drivers. So he's been consistent. He's gotten some great finishes and even a couple of runner-up finishes, but still hasn't gotten that win yet. And honestly, at this point, you could say it's overdue, kind of in a similar situation to Darcy Ford in a sense. And it appears we've gotten the word from the Discord chat that there's 25 laps to go in the second stage.
97 second, 12 third, 18 fourth, 25th.
Okay, so
top 5,
we just did get our first top 5 there. So it is Corbin Macaulay still leading, Ty Higginbotham in second, Mike Marini in third, Mike Nickens fourth, and Hunter Young, the guy again that we've talked about a little bit over the last couple of weeks, is leading the best of the rest. He rounds out the top 5 here at this particular snapshot of the evening as we're coming up rapidly on 20 laps to go here in this middle stage. And yeah, again, it's McCauley holding on here. Higginbotham trying to track him down here, though, it looks like, as they're coming up on a little bit more lap traffic. And from what I've heard going into tonight, it looks like it's just the one green flag pit stop in stage number 3. So that's how that apparently is going to unfold. And speaking of pit stops, it looks like we've got a couple drivers in pit lane, whether it's disconnections or actually having to make stops. I'm not 100% sure what the case is there. But I do see Higginbotham getting closer to McCauley here. We could have a battle for the lead on our hands momentarily. As the 17 tries to hang on, they work their way past Trent Nielsen. But McCauley bumped up into the wall.
Trying to get by the lap car. And it seems all good now. Higginbotham seems to have maybe had a bit of a issue as well trying to get by on the inside there. So it looks like they're still all good now. The gap still kind of remains a bit similar. But yeah, Ty Higginbotham is getting closer and closer to McCauley. And you were saying about the green flag pit stop that will come by in the third stage there. You have to remember at this track, there are 2 pit lanes. So having 2 pit lanes, that's definitely gonna probably shake things up a lot. I mean, on whatever side you're on, like I don't think there's any other way to put it. I mean, it's self-explanatory. 2 pit lanes, anything could happen.
1797 battle for the lead.
So 15 laps remaining is what we're being told for stage 2.
First and second have about a 6-second gap.
And yeah, it's pretty much a 2-horse race, as you just heard a little bit from Ty Higginbotham. One of the 2 horses in that race, as a matter of fact. As these two, it sounds like they have a gap of about 6 seconds between themselves and the next car on the track. And given that the laps are short, that's not exactly an easy feat here. As McCauley holds on, Higginbotham might have a look up the outside.
Oh, he's there. He's bumped. I think he bumped him a little bit. He's up high. He's going to use the outside lane to possibly get a better momentum here, because the inside line is a little bit slower, especially going through the corners and exiting off. So Higginbotham might take it here, and he will. He's going to clear McCauley and take the position here, as I believe we're now at 11 laps to go.
Yeah, you telegraphed it perfectly there, Reeks, and yeah, you referenced the, I don't know if there was maybe a little bump there. Well, there's a bigger bump.
Oh, there's trouble in front of them.
The third. Getting spun around. Higginbotham and McCauley somehow just avoided that. That could have been catastrophic for our 2 leaders. Corbin McCauley especially, if he'd gotten caught up in that.
I heard the reaction from the other side there. I heard the reaction. I heard a whoo. I heard that.
Yeah, it's a little bit too close for comfort there, to put it lightly, as Higginbotham comes to the line with now 8 laps remaining in the stage. And McCauley, who's led for the majority of the stage, he's suddenly on the back foot here trying to play catch-up. As you know, he'd love to get a stage win, if nothing else. Obviously, the checkered flag at the end would mean a heck of a lot more. But yeah, McCauley just looking to get another strong finish in this stage.
Well, I mean, if he wins the overall race, then he's moving on. So yeah, it probably wouldn't be the best to stress over not being able to score the stage win, because I mean, you can't guarantee that's going to get you can't guarantee that's going to get him enough points to get over someone like Mike Marini at the checkered flag, because if he doesn't win, then like it could be very close there. So what's going to matter is the checkered flag at the very end, and as long as he can get a good pit strategy on that in that green flag pit window there that'll come by very soon, then like that's all that has to matter in his mind. That's all he has to focus on. Just kind of keep a little bit more patient here, even though this race has definitely been flying by. And the other thing is too, yeah, it's a bit ironic that Bob Drew III was out of all drivers was the one to kind of spin there. I mean, we've heard about the somewhat of the drama that has happened in recent races involving him and Macaulay. So a bit of irony there. Thank God nothing happened, because that probably would have stirred up some fireworks. But yeah, once again, Macaulay doesn't need to stress at all right now. Second place, 2 stages in a row. If that ends up being the case, that's definitely going to be excellent, him gaining the points. And Marini is likely somewhere at the bottom of the top 5, maybe even like lower in the top 10. So that'll definitely help out Macaulay for sure. But yeah, as long as he can get into the 3rd stage and race clean, get a good strategy with the pit stop, then like it'll be on him to get the job done. So.
And speaking of getting the job done, Ty Higginbotham coming around turns 3 and 4 for the final time. And there is stage 2 in the bag for the number 97 Tornado Alley E-Racing Chevy. As Higginbotham takes the stage win, Macaulay finishes 2nd. So that's another big 9 points for the number 17, as again, we're working to get the math official on this side of things. Again, working on that very much in real time here as we try to get a few things sorted out.
97 first, 17 second, 18 third, 24th, 41 fifth, 7 6th, 94 7th, 12 8th, 87 9th, 9 10th.
And you kind of heard it there from Ty Higginbotham through the Discord chat, but we'll give you a more official rundown of the Stage 2 Top 10 here in just a minute as we try and, again, get everything working here in a relatively short order as we reset here for stage number 3. 3rd and final stage of tonight's race, of course. And it's indeed the final stage of the round of 12 here as we are back live. And it looks like Higginbotham had a run down the inside, but Nickens will have the momentum on the outside like you were talking about. And that 18 is just hurtling, or was hurtling off to the races, but Higginbotham's hanging with him. And things are happening pretty cleanly here so far, it has to be said, although, let's just go ahead and see.
You probably shouldn't say that.
I mean, I did, but I was just looking to see if there was any carnage there in the background, but it looks like everyone's hanging on in relatively decent order here. As we'll bring back to our actual cam, and of course the broadcaster Jinx caught somebody spinning in the background.
I told you.
Didn't quite catch it right off hand. Definitely the spinner you saw going into, you know, the front stretch there, I believe, yeah, the start-finish stretch. Yeah, that's where it was. Again, didn't get a great look at who it was. But, again, I can tell you, yeah, Mike Nickens still your leader. Higginbotham right there in 2nd, hanging around.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I have the driver for you. Darcy Ford.
Oh, no. That is not what he would have wanted to hear, certainly. I thought the car was a little bit more gray, but that is absolutely not what the defending Earl Ross Cup champion would have wanted to have happen, obviously, going into stage 3. And that's Hunter Young hanging around in 3rd. I had to figure out who the purple and gold scheme was. As it's Higginbotham leading, Nickens 2nd, Young in 3rd. I believe that's Nelson 4th. And I think that's Corbin McCauley rounding out the top 5. Leo Jameson hanging around there in 6th. Haven't really spoken much of him over this particular evening as we've tried to get everything sorted out. But, again, we'll do our best to try and focus on things a little bit more as we go along, because obviously this 3rd and final stage, given how quickly things have gone so far, there's no way it isn't going to be longer than, you know, what we've experienced to this point. It is a 250-miler after all. As, again, you see exactly Darcy Ford kind of running on his own here.
Well, yeah, I was saying earlier I was able to catch it. It was, in fact, Darcy Ford that was involved in that, so that's definitely not going to help him out. I mean, you could argue that he is potentially maybe in the safe ground with plus 16 coming into the race, but at the same time, though, Marini and Macaulay have both been getting some pretty good points tonight from the stages. So that is definitely not going to help him out at all. And also, yeah, that purple and yellow car, whatever you were seeing there in third place, happened to be Hunter Young, who I believe is currently the best driver of the best of the rest.
Yes.
Right now, yes, by 4 points over Andy Hurdle, and then Daniel Cudmore is negative 23. So yeah, it's a bit of a fight between the 20 and the 7 for the best of the rest standings. So yeah, even there we're getting some good stuff. It's not even just the playoff grid where things are interesting. It's also the best of the rest standings with the 2 drivers in Hunter Young and Andy Hurdle. So yeah, I guess in 2 areas, it's even outside the playoffs, it's even interesting.
And, well, that's why we put that in Season 2, was to give those guys something to fight for as well, because obviously, it's not the easiest thing to kind of desire wanting to stay around if there's nothing to go for. There's Higginbotham got a little loose. Again, I'm not sure if that's game physics or whether he was just authentically loose in the turn, but I know it didn't look good one way or the other. As Higginbotham leads from Nickens there in second. I think McCauley's moved up to third somewhere along the line.
I mean, it's Bristol. It wouldn't surprise me if it was an authentic spin, to be kind of honest. Yeah, it was. He got pretty loose, although it might have been a game physics thing there. But yeah, McCauley moves up to third place. He's trying to catch up to Mike Nickens here. I mean, if he can keep that momentum right there, and then whenever the pit stop comes around, be able to be a little bit more up there, maybe even in second place, and then not get a speeding penalty, because I believe that's what happened at Texas, which ruined his finishing position, unfortunately, whenever he actually had something decent going for him. Yeah, maybe there'll be a better luck this time around, and it looks like, yeah, he's definitely catching up to Mike Nickens here, as Ty Higginbotham is putting on quite the gap over the number 18 car thus far. And I'm even looking on pit road. You were seeing a couple cars there on pit road earlier. It does look like most of them are not moving, so it does appear to be a lot of disconnections, unfortunately. I believe Dan Mattiello is, in fact, one of them. So, yeah, of course, it's just the good old disconnection stuff. Sucks.
And I think as that last camera turned, I think we may have seen another disconnect from Bob Drew III, which would immediately eliminate him from championship contention if that was to be the case. Of course, we did see him spin in stage 2. So the odds weren't great anyway, but if that is in fact a disconnection that we saw, then again, that just kind of makes things official from that perspective.
Well, yeah, that's what it looks like, and that'd be 2 races in a row were in fact a DNF, so that's definitely not the best way to go out of the playoffs, especially like that's both races in the round of 12. You DNF. That is just. It's super unfortunate. I believe Ty Higginbotham was giving a couple updates there while I interrupt.
All right, so revised top 5 here as Higginbotham, I think that's the back straight as a matter of fact. He's coming up on 98 laps remaining in this one. So Higginbotham is your leader still. McCauley up into second. He's gotten past Mike Nickens, who's in third. Hunter Young, 4th, and Mike Marini rounds out the top 5.
Still McCauley and Marini being close. The thing I'm personally wondering is if McCauley doesn't win, but he still finishes in front of Marini, and we also consider Darcy Ford's situation, who's going to get in? That's 3 drivers fighting for 2 spots. So unless maybe you have you may have some standings there that you've been working on. So maybe that'll help.
Feverishly working on this just to let everyone know. So yes, it is very much in the works. I know I've been kind of hyping it up here for the last little bit, but yeah, just still very much in progress here. So now I can actually look at what the top 10s were from the first 2 stages just to see what we've got in play. Just have to pull them up on the old Facebook service as we go along. All right, so should have this ready relatively shortly. And let's just see, get word of a potential lag issue here with Hunter Young. As I'm trying to find him here on track. Oh, yeah, there he is. There's Hunter Young in pit
is.
lane. That is a disconnection for the 20. And guess what? That's going to bring Mike Marini a position closer to Corbin McCauley on track.
Oh, boy.
As, speak of the devil, 17 getting a little loose there out of the turn. Looks like he's still comfortably got second over Mike Nickens right now.
But yeah, there's a massive gap between first and second, and then second and third. So, drivers are just kind of keeping it safe here, although lap traffic is definitely going to be coming up soon, and I'm sure the pit stop will come around soon as well, because the laps in this race have been winding down extremely fast. So that's the thing too with how fast this race is going, how fast the laps are winding down. You got to be quick with your strategies. You got to be quick with that momentum that the most amount of momentum that you have possible. So the race is just gonna flash in our eyes. Like the finish is just gonna. It's probably gonna be. It'll feel like it'll only be like what 5 or 10 minutes until the finish with how this race has gone. So
it'll feel like
things are gonna go by quick. Yeah, things are gonna get by quick.
Yeah. And again, we're looking at what, 14, 15 second laps, somewhere in that ballpark?
Ish, yeah.
Let's just see. Yeah, matter of fact, we were told in the group chat that there was 0.3 of a second separating first from last in tonight's race. So that gives you an idea. And yeah, tonight's pole time was 15.645 seconds. So gives you an idea of what the laps were like. As again, I'm just about ready to go with this, I think. Okay, so and yeah, we're just about there, so that explains the relative dead air that we've gotten going here. Is again, things have gotten maybe a little bit dead on the track as well, with gaps starting to form. Although this could be tasty here. Marini trying to get up onto the back of Nickens. This would be for third place, so let's stay here for a little bit, as obviously Marini's going to be desperate for the victory as well, as we get closer and closer to eliminating another 4 drivers. That's going to be happening relatively soon. And then, yeah, just kind of looking through the standings. Obviously, Corbin McCauley's done basically all he can right now, minus the stage wins to this point. 2 second place finishes in the stages to this point. As again, just working through the rest of the standings. Appreciate the patience as I try to do the hashtag real-time maths. And
well, the bots in the chat don't seem to be very patient, but yeah, well, sure.
I was going to say, I don't know if those bots are particularly worried about math. That's going to be the point that I'm going to get at.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, okay, I think I have some, or I will have some numbers relatively soon. And by relatively soon, I mean right about now, just as soon as I get them in order. And
Marini has gotten my Nickens to confirm.
What was that? Sorry? Yeah, look at that. Marini has, in fact, moved up into third. So good eye on that. Thank you for bringing that to the viewers here, as we go ahead and bring you those updated standings. So right now, as it stands, Higginbotham obviously is through to the round of 8 with the win. Jonathan Peden second at 3,091 points. No points in tonight's race. I'm not even sure, as a matter of fact, if he's going tonight. I don't remember seeing his car as we went through the field. So he may have actually taken tonight off by the looks of it. Going through the field. Yeah, no Jonathan Peden tonight, so that's why he's dropped down. He's comfortably through, as he had he's got right now a 65-point gap on 9th, so he's fine. Okay, so revised top 5 right now is Higginbotham leading, Macaulay in second, Marini third, Nickens in fourth. As you can see, that battle continues on the screen. And Jose Mercado rounds out the top 5. So, let's just see here. Whoops, I had that in the wrong order. That's not particularly good. So, let's try and get a little bit more of a true perspective on this here. So, yeah, I had it just off of the wrong column. And, nearly a little bit of contact, we were told, with Higginbotham nearly getting into someone on the track there. Didn't quite get a good view of it. Just a little bit of miscommunication there by the sounds of things. Alright, so... Jeez, no, I do not. I swear we're almost there. I just have to remember how to actually sort things. Okay. Now I can officially tell you what the standings look like, and Riggs, if you thought things were interesting 2 weeks ago, how's about now? Let's go through it here. So again, Higginbotham is through. Jonathan Peden second, he's through on points. Leo Jameson has a 26-point gap on 9th place right now, but I don't think there's 26 drivers in the field tonight, so we're going to say he's through. Mike Nickens, I believe he's through. 15 points in stages tonight have helped his cause. Jose Mercado, 3,068 points right now, so he's fairly secure, but nothing, set in stone there just yet. Jacob Nelson, 3,058 points as we're live right now. He is 7 up on 9th place. So, 7, 8, and 9 if you want things to get a little spicy. Mike Marini, 7th, 3,052 points. 8th place, Darcy Ford, 3,052 points. 9th, despite the 18 points, Corbin McCauley, 3,051 points.
Oh my goodness.
1 point separating 7 through 9. And 10, 11, and 12,
boy.
They are in must-win territory, although we've seen Bob Drew III already disconnected. So Reggie Kime, Tom Janikowski, they are in must-win territory now, as Kime's 22 points out at this particular juncture, Janikowski 26 points out. So, again, 7, 8, and 9 separated by 1 point. 7 and 8 tied on that bubble right now. As we check in on Corbin McCauley here. And he is the man very much on the bubble right now.
I mean, if I had to be kind of honest, though, I think I'm probably going to be more terrified when it comes to the round of 8. Because that's, let me go through this list. Higginbotham, Peden, Jameson, Mercado, Nickens, Nelson, and then let's say, it could be any of 4, Marini or Macaulay, it could be any of those 2. Combine 8 of those drivers in 2 races before the finale. Every time you give me revised standings, I'm going to shiver. So, it could be anyone that gets in. We might see Tornado Alley suddenly go through a collapse. We might see someone surprised at the bottom of the grid. We might see the obvious drivers come through. It could be the round of 8 is going to be the round of literally anyone. It could be anyone. Actually, it could be anyone. So that's the thing too. The battle with Marini and Macaulay. I would say, whenever you look at the standings before the race, heading into the race, you would think everyone from 1st to 7th, where it starts with Higginbotham, ends with Darcy Ford. You would think those 7 drivers, easily, any of them could really have a shot there. But don't count out the 8th driver that gets in if it's Marini or Macaulay. It could be Ford and Marini, it could be Ford and Macaulay, it could be Marini and Macaulay. We don't know. Whoever that 8th driver ends up being, don't count them out. Especially Corbin McCauley, for example. He's a guy that definitely has the pace to get the job done, especially in very impactful races. And considering the tracks are Las Vegas and Phoenix, I mean, McCauley's got potential there. I think Mike Marini also could as well. Darcy Ford, I think, could be a guy that could definitely, for sure, come through and be successful on those kinds of tracks, especially... was Phoenix the finale race last year, or what was it?
Phoenix was the Season 1 finale. Las Vegas was the Season 2 finale.
Okay, exactly, right there. Darcy Ford won the title last year, and Las Vegas was the finale. So if Darcy Ford makes it through to the round of 8, that right there, Las Vegas, he could have that shot of defending the race trophy and could get himself into the Final Four for the... I would imagine, like, what, the 3rd season in a row? Like, it'd be a thing of every season or something, so... Yeah. Again, like you were saying with the revised standings. Goosebumps.
Meanwhile, while we were talking there, we saw the one green flag pit window go down involving our leaders, and Corbin McCauley has emerged ahead of Ty Higginbotham in that. So there's a development, folks. And the reason for that, I'm not 100% sure what the rationale for it was, but Higginbotham wound up with a 16.5 second pit stop. I'm not sure if there was a damage fix or maybe a button pushed wrong, but there's a couple of buttons pushed wrong there as there was an incident. But McCauley gets through.
And I saw it there with Mike Marini too. Marini, with the last camera that we had on Mike Marini's car, he had hood damage. So I wonder if that might be a clue to him possibly being potentially a couple spots lower. Maybe he's still good where he is. And okay, yeah, I just got the incident there on the stream because I have the better quality there, so that kind of scared me for a second. But yeah, I wonder where Marini is now, because that hood damage is concerning.
Yeah, and he's definitely still got a little bit here as...
Okay, there's still stuff going on.
Yeah, things are starting to get a little squirrely here in Stage 3 at Bristol, and again, this is, you know, with the drivers probably not knowing exactly where they are in relation to the standings, knowing, you know, the round of 8 is within touching distance here. Imagine how much worse it might be if that was to be the case, as we will just fling it back to, I think this is our lead battle here, Corbin McCauley and Ty Higginbotham. Higgy getting a little loose there at the start-finish line. You see McCauley still ahead coming through turn 2.
So, how many laps remaining now? You know?
I have not gotten a recent count on that, but as soon as I hear something, I will advise. But again, they're ticking away very, very, very quickly, it has to be said. And, you know, with time ticking as quickly as it is, we should we'll go back to this lead battle soon, I swear, but we should draw attention to one of the particular cars in the field, not that one because of the disconnection, obviously. Tom Janikowski, very much in a must-win situation, but he gets into the wall. So things just getting worse and worse, and then bumped from behind by Jameson, as I think that's McCauley and Higginbotham coming up behind. So Janikowski having a bit of a rough go of things here.
This might get spicy. You might want to stay on it. You might want to.
I will in a minute, but again, here's where I was wanting to go. Travis Tyson here in the number 87 out of Kingsville, Tennessee. A little bit of hood damage on the front, but that's not what I wanted to draw attention to. Obviously, you know, he got eliminated in the round of 16 a couple of weeks ago as well. But it's the paint scheme that I want to give you a bit of a background on. It's the orange and white is meant to pay homage to the Tennessee Volunteers, which is the favorite college football team of one Chase Beatty. So it is a tribute to the man that we've come to know and love here over the last couple of years, as of course he's going through a couple of his own health issues there as well, and certainly we wish him the best. And in recognizing that, again, it's probably a good time to acknowledge the news that, you know, we have recently decided to name this year's finale in his honor. So it will be the Chase Beatty 200, where our Earl Ross Cup champion will get decided this year at Homestead, Miami. So just wanted to bring a little bit of attention there, a bit of a shout out there to Travis Tyson for another tribute scheme. We saw Ty Higginbotham do something similar at Watkins Glen a couple weeks ago. But nice to see that 25 is still very much in the hearts and minds of our drivers.
Well, yeah, whenever I personally, whenever I learned the news myself of the announcement for the Homestead race, at the same time, it was just not surprised, and also just massive props, because yeah, it's once again, it just sucks that we don't have Chase Beatty here, because he's been one of the more respected drivers to come through this series. He's very much loved and appreciated by all the other drivers in the field. So it really sucks. However, though, down the line, if he does end up coming back, let's say for season 4, for example, if things do end up going well for him down the line in the future, then yeah, it would be terrific to have him back. Everyone would definitely welcome him back with open arms and great appreciation. So yeah, once again, Chase Beatty, obviously you are still in our thoughts, and obviously it's a great honor to have your name on the championship finale race, and I'm sure that must feel great for you as well. Once again, we're thinking about you, and yeah. If you're tuning into any of this or any of the next couple of races, yeah. So we're thinking about you, and yeah, hope you're enjoying the races.
Yeah, we got your back here, buddy. I mean, we know you're definitely following along here as we bring it back on track, and Bristol, I believe, not too far away from where both Travis Tyson and Chase Beatty live, or in relative proximity. So a little bit of a hometown race for those two, especially as, again, we bring it back to said track where it looks like Corbin McCauley continues to be at the head of the proceedings here. And again, it's hard to overstate just how massive of a victory that would be, because again, he's 9th in the standings right now, 1 point out. And yeah, if things happen to work out, obviously that'll push either Darcy Ford or Mike Marini out of the top 8. So either way, a competitive driver is going to find themselves eliminated here within, relatively short order.
I mean that the pain of that's going to come worse whenever we get to the next round, though. So just obviously be aware of that.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean,
it'll only get worse.
It's just the nature of how things go here. And again, it's, maybe magnified just that little bit more just from the fact that, it's only 2 races in each round instead of the typical 3 that we would get in the real life NASCAR series. So that's just going to kind of make things that more poignant here as we go along. As again, I'm just getting a couple of things ready here in the background. As again, McCauley continues to lead. It looks like that car's hanging on here, and obviously from what I've seen over the last couple of years, and I know he's alluded to it in past interviews that I've done with him, but certainly McCauley, if he's able to hold on here somehow, I feel like this is, one of those races that he kind of had circled on the calendar, so to speak, and knowing what was at stake, and you might be able to speak to this a little bit more as well, it seems like he wanted to come in and absolutely be ready for it, and, the results are showing right here and right now.
Well, yeah, and at the same time as well, he's been going through some of his own personal stuff as well, health-related too. So to see him come in and try and persevere the best he can in these races is absolutely incredible. It's great to see, and yeah, he's missed a couple races over this season, and it's been kind of a slump in comparison to past years. But again, obviously, we've seen a lot more drivers come into the series, and that's what's caused a lot of parity and a lot more competition to come through and really challenge these drivers. So yeah, it's again, if things end up working out within the next couple laps here, then hopefully the checker flag will be his. But if I had a lap count, I'd probably have better words to say here, because that's the other thing too. Lap traffic is getting a little bit hectic right here. Oh, there it is.
Lap count
20.
is 20.
20 to go.
What you've just seen is Corbin McCauley lapping Darcy Ford as we get down to 19 remaining. And so, yeah, things not looking too good from the perspective of our defending Earl Ross Cup champion either. As, again, he's just been lapped by a man that, you know, is very much trying to take a spot from him here. And, again, without knowing Mike Marini's position on the track, but we know that he's been, you know, very competitive for the majority of the evening. Just a matter of, yeah, trying to figure out what exactly that math looks like. As we're rapidly closing in on 15 to go here tonight. And it should be mentioned that tonight is also, I should say, round number 5 of our 6-race Fix Auto Cup that we've done throughout the course of the season as well. And we're thankful to our friends at Fix Auto Charlottetown for remaining involved with us and sticking by basically from season 1. And I think that was just a 15 to go indicator. And yeah, going into tonight, Jonathan Peden had a 27-point lead in that particular championship as well, but obviously he didn't race tonight, so things will tighten up a little bit, and that finale will go down in a couple weeks' time in Phoenix. So that's another little fun season-long cup that we've been doing as well. But obviously, the bigger focus right now is trying to hang on to the Earl Ross Cup, and Corbin McCauley trying to kind of maintain his best opportunities here as he continues to lead. Ty Higginbotham just getting that little bit closer, though. And meanwhile, I was going to say, I thought I saw Mike Nickens in the background. Is that him in third place, perhaps catching up? Because we haven't really spoken much of him here in this third and final stage. Got off to a decent start, but haven't really talked about him as a potential threat for the victory. As McCauley tries to...
He was a lap car.
Swing his way around Tyson. But, yeah, Higginbotham's getting right Nickens up on the back.
Yeah, Mike Nickens was a lap car. They just passed him, and yeah, Higginbottom looks to be there. We were seeing there. He's, oh my goodness.
Yeah, things getting a little dicey there. Boy. Hurdle off the wall.
Oh boy!
McCauley is just going to survive here. Higginbotham, I don't know if he's fared out quite as well as it looks like now. There's about 4 cars between McCauley and Higginbotham on track. And Higginbotham immediately
okay, yeah, I'm looking at the
saying to McCauley, I don't know if you can hear it on the chat here, Regan, but they're having a little chat and they're just attributing it to nothing more than a racing incident that went down there. So all clean on all sides, but as you can see, Corbin McCauley, the ultimate beneficiary here.
Well, yeah, I was seeing back here on the stream, they were trying to get past 2-lap cars right there. McCauley went like all the way up high in one gap, and Higginbottom seemed like he was trying to send it. And then McCauley was trying to pass the car on the inside. Higginbottom kind of seemed like he maybe dove in a little bit too much. They came together, and then there was just a bit of a chain reaction there. So, yeah, I mean, for a guy like Ty Higginbottom, it doesn't surprise me that he's keeping it civil, kind of just a racing incident. He kind of did send it in a little bit too much, though. So, yeah, thank God we don't have fireworks. I mean, it's Ty Higginbottom, so I guess what do you expect? But, yeah, it looks like McCauley has put on quite the gap now. I think this might be it, and there's 4 laps to go, as you just signaled to me there. Thank you very much. And
I did, yes.
It looks like
things are getting a little closer, and speaking of closer, McCauley looking like he's about to put Jose Mercado a lap down, and he's done that. And now we're down to 3 remaining. And again, we talk about timing on these tracks. Man, oh man, if Corbin McCauley's able to hold on for these last couple of miles, couldn't have timed it any better, really.
The other side of my wall,
I'm not sure if that was a 3 or a 2 that I heard.
The other side of my wall right here is definitely about to start shaking.
We'll find out soon enough here, I guess. White flag here as we're on to the final lap of tonight's Fix Auto Charlottetown 250. Corbin McCauley leading, and it's quick down the back straight, and it's open track on all sides for the 17. It's just a matter of keeping it straight. He does that, maybe a little touch, but it's enough. Corbin McCauley, he takes a massive win at Bristol. He advances to the round of 8. And boy, oh boy, we've got some things shaking up here, I think.
Well, now the only question is, Darcy Ford or Mike Marini? Who is in?
That is the primary question here, and we'll find that out in relatively short order. Again, Corbin McCauley, he was 9th going into the final stage tonight. And again, that's just shaking up the balance here. And